Shadow Groudon Raid Weekend is upcoming next in Pokemon GO. You will not miss this day. We're gonna run through a full breakdown of this event, a full breakdown of Shadow Groudon itself. We're even gonna run through a strategy and a counter guide for the best way to take this Pokemon down, and right at the end we're gonna show you why you have to play this event. This is Shadow Groudon Raid Weekend with Go With Us. Let's get time and date out of the way. Shadow Groudon will be hitting Shadow Raids this weekend from September at 6 a.m. on the 20th, all the way until Sunday the 21st at 10 p.m. local time, so a huge time frame, which means it's time to touch on our Shadow Raid featured Pokemon, Shadow Groudon. Shadow Groudon is a ground-type legendary Pokemon originally coming from the Hoenn region in Generation 3. Let's just have a look at its stats. It has a max CP of 4652, an attack of 270, a defense of 228, and a stamina of 205. All of those are very impressive. The fast attacks that it has access to is going to be Mud Shot and Dragon Tail, and the charge moves that it has access to is going to be Earthquake, Fire Blast, Fire Punch, which is actually an Elite TM move, Solar Beam, as well as Precipice Blades. Precipice Blades also needs an Elite Charge TM. Unfortunately, it will not come with this raid weekend, so you need to use an Elite TM. But before you use that Elite TM, remember to remove Frustration. Because we're in the middle of the Psychic Spectacular taking over right now, one of the main bonuses is that you can remove Frustration with this Pokemon with a Charge TM. From there, you can then put Precipice Blades on with an Elite TM. It's a great time to mention as well, and this is the big hype of this event, Shadow Shiny Groudon will be making its debut in Pokemon GO. I believe that the shiny rate will be 1 in 20. There's going to be one specific bonus for this event, which is going to be one additional free raid pass per day for a total of 2. But remember, because we're in the Psychic Spectacular Taking Over event, certain bonuses like additional candy for nice throws or better, more Exalt candy for nice throws or better are going to carry over, which means we have a huge opportunity to get those candy gains, which we will touch on in a little bit. Trainers can upgrade their experience for a total cost of $5, and that's pretty much going to get you an additional 5 free raid passes per day for a total of 7, especially if you don't do a raid the day before. You're going to get 50% more XP from raid battles, as well as 2 times the Stardust from completing these raid battles. If you are considering buying the ticket, please buy it from the web store. The reason why is that you can see that there's this progression track where every single time you make a purchase on the store, you can progress, and you pretty much get free rewards every time you hit certain milestones. It's very worth it, and on top of this, you will get an additional free raid pass as well, so you might as well get it through the store. Details are out of the way, but before we get to our counter guide and strategy, it's best to understand how these Shadow 5-star raids are going to work. How this is going to work, very similar to Shadow Kyogre, is that as soon as the health bar reaches 60 or 70%, the Pokemon is going to become enraged. The reason why this is very important is that the only way to take away this enraged state is to use a purified gem. It takes about 8 purified gems to take away this enraged state, and once that enraged state disappears, the Pokemon becomes a lot easier to defeat. The only way to get a purified gem is to have 4 Shadow Shards. 4 Shadow Shards equals 1 purified gem. You can get Shadow Shards by defeating grunts, but you will also get Shadow Shards for every single Shadow raid you complete, so it kind of replenishes over time. On top of this, you can only hold about 10 to 11 purified gems in your bag at a time, so it's very important to try and increase your lobby size with more players because you're going to use less gems. Now that we know how the Shadow raid is going to work, what Pokemon should you use to take this thing down? It is weak to 3 different types, which is going to be grass, ice, and water, and those are the Pokemon you really want to build your counter guide around. Therefore, these are the best Mega Pokemon you could use in this battle. Mega Sceptile with Fury Cutter and Frenzy Plants, which will need an Elite TM. We have to mention something like Mega Rayquaza with Dragon Tail and Dragon Ascent just because of that sheer power of Dragon Ascent. Mega Swampert is definitely going to be your next best pick with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon, Legacy TM there as well. Undoubtedly, this is probably going to be one of your best picks, if not the best, Primal Kyogre with Waterfall and Origin Pulse. White Kyurem is probably going to be your strongest counter with Ice Fang and Ice Burn, and Black Kyurem as well is going to be extremely strong to use with Dragon Tail and Free Shock. Best Shadow counters you could use is going to be Shadow Kyogre like we just had with Waterfall and Origin Pulse. You could use Shadow Tangrowth here with Vine Whip and Power Whip, Shadow Swampert with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon, and even Shadow Gyarados with Waterfall and Aqua Tail is going to serve you just fine. If you do have Kyogre with Waterfall and Origin Pulse, it's going to help. Swampert with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon. If you do have Kartana with Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade, an honorable mention for something like a Feraligatr with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon, as well as Baxcalibur with Ice Fang and Avalanche. Once you defeat Shadow Groudon, you will get an encounter with Shadow Groudon. That 100% IV is going to be 2351 and non-weather boosted weather, but in weather boosted sunny weather, that 100% IV is going to be 2939 CP. According to the research we've done, it's telling us about 3 to 5 trainers should be enough to take this thing down with strong counters. I would suggest getting as many trainers as possible. purely because of the purified gems reason. Before we show you how good Shadow Groudon really is, we want to run through some top tips, with number one being candy gains. How do I maximize the candy? Because it is going to be stacking with the Psychic Spectacular Taken Over event, which rewards us more candy and more XL candy for nice throws or better. I would strongly recommend, I know we just said in the counter guide to use certain Pokemon like a Mega Sceptile to take it down faster. However, try if you can, if you do have a big party of people, to Mega Evolve a ground type Pokemon, something like a Mega Garchomp for example. The reason why, especially if this Pokemon is at level 3, is that you will be getting an extra 25% XL candy chance on top of those bonuses, which means every single Groudon that you catch, especially if you catch it on a nice throw or better, you're gonna really maximize your chance at getting candy for this Pokemon. And believe me, we're gonna show you why candy and getting candy as well as the XL candy is very important for this. Try if you can to use a Mega Ground type Pokemon to get that candy and XL candy, especially if you have bigger parties. The second thing, and a lot of people forget to do this, please use Party Play. This is an incredible feature because it's going to double the power of every single charge moves you use in the raid. You can put 4 people in a party, and believe me, especially if you all are using the right counters, it's really going to be hugely beneficial for you. Tip number 3, and this is something that they haven't mentioned, is that the remote raid limit is not going to be increased from what we understand. I would strongly suggest getting out there, get a community, find people that you can play with, use Campfire, because these are going to be the best way to try and maximize these raids, because in person you will be able to do as many as possible. And if you're looking for certain raid pass bundles, please check the web store. They really have some good deals that are worth the money. Tip number 4, and I got my head taken off for this last time, consider purifying just one of these Groudons, especially if you already have a few shadows with 15 attack. If you got one, for example, that was a 13, 14, 13, please consider purifying this to get the Hundo Groudon so you can eventually get the Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon is one of the best Pokemon in the entire game, and if you already have a good team of Shadow Groudons, why not consider getting that Hundo, especially with Precipice Blades? This Pokemon is tremendously strong. Please do this, guys. I'm not saying purify every single one. I'm just saying just pick one if you do get the right stats, because Primal Groudon, because a lot of people don't have that Hundo, is going to serve you tremendously well at the right time. Please do that. Please remove frustration on every single one of these shadows. Try and put them in a frustration tag folder as we suggested in our Psychic Spectacular Taken Over video, which you can check out up here. That's a full breakdown of the new Shadow Pokemon, everything you really need to know. Trust me, these Shadow Pokemon are very worth it. Tips and details are out of the way, but how good even is Shadow Groudon in Pokemon Go? Well, let's start in the Go Battle League. Guys, the regular Groudon is currently taking the 19th spot with XL Candy, and the Shadow is taking the 41st spot with Precipice Blades and Fire Punch. Both of those are elite TM moves, as we said earlier, but let me just say, this Pokemon, especially if you do get the Hundo, if you power it up, trust me, this Pokemon is going to do a lot of damage for you, and it could be a very fun thing to run in the Master League, because a lot of people would run something like a Dialga, for example, which would get absolutely deleted by this Pokemon. Definitely use it in PvP. Shadow Groudon is currently the 3rd best ground type attacker in the entire game, and let's just have a look at these stats. It has a DPS of 27.72 with Precipice Blades. It's very important to have Precipice Blades on this Pokemon, but I want you to look at its bulk. Shadow Pokemon have their attack increased by 20%, but their defense decreases by 20%. Even at that stage, the TDO in this Pokemon is still going to be 575, which actually beats out almost everything else in the top 10. This is so impressive. And because we told you to consider purifying at least one to try and get the Hundo, just look at the Primal Groudon, guys. With Precipice Blades, 30.5 DPS and a TDO of 937. That is, I might be mistaken, that might be the highest in the entire game, which is... Please, this is a day you cannot miss. It's a huge opportunity to get the Shadow Shiny. You can get a Primal Groudon Hundo, you can get a Shadow Hundo, and of course you can get the candy as well as the XL candy for the boosts. Please do not miss this day. If you guys want to see everything going on this week in Pokemon Go specifically, please check it out on our left. We're going to leave it on the end screen. Guys, we packed this video for you. Please smash that like and subscribe button. You will not miss Shadow Groudon Raid Weekend. Go with us, and you know we'll catch us on the next one, baby.